What's up, everybody? Brian Peacock, Epic Outdoor Adventures. Another wild, medicinal, and gardening useful plant that grows wild here in North Carolina. It grows all over the place. Not quite sure the entire region of this plant, but I have this plant here in my yard. This is a little flower patch that I have here. It's got some hostas and some 5 o'clocks, and there's some milkweed in here for the butterflies. And I put this comfrey in the back here in this sandy clay soil back here, and you can see the Georgia clay that we have here, and it's this hill is just nothing but compacted gravel and clay. Has no nutritional value whatsoever in the soil. So I've been conditioning this soil for the last 3 years, and I also built all this, scalped all this out. Of course, this is early spring here in the mountains of North Carolina, and I can't really get any of my warm weather crops out until mid-May, around Mother's Day. So but this comfrey here, I put it here last year. I propagated it off of a root. It was separated off the root clump, and that is one way to propagate this plant. You can also just take cuttings of the roots, about 2-3 inches long, of the root itself, and they will also start root and push flowers as well. So this plant is a very versatile plant. It can grow just about anywhere. It's very hard to kill. It transplants very easily. You could dig this up, move it somewhere else, and it would be totally fine. But uses on comfrey, there is some medicinal uses that has been used in the past, but there are also some other health risks that go along with that. It can attack the liver, some studies have shown. So you have to be very careful if you take this medicinally. It's recommended not to take this internally. Only use it externally on a sprain, a bruise, broken bones, sore muscles, things like that. Not on open cuts. And this just reduces the risk of that, and that one would only be useful in short-term uses. But I wouldn't recommend using it as a medicinal plant unless you do your own research on the plant. The reason that I have the plant is I use it, and I plan to use it even more in my gardening. So I do a lot of gardening. You can see I do a lot of container gardening. I also have some raised beds. There's one up there. There's a couple over here. And I have a big one out front of my house. And this plant is, it supposedly taps a deep root and down past other things, and can actually gather minerals that are deeper down in the soil or clay or harder things that other things can't get to, and it supposedly pulls up those minerals and stores it in these leaves. So these leaves are great as a fertilizer. You can use them as a mulch. You can pick them and drop them, just leave them, and they'll just turn brown and black and just start depositing all the minerals that they've stored. You can also blend them in a water solution and dump them around, water them in, just to emulsify the process and probably speed up the process a little bit. You can also, I've heard some of the which really got me interested in this is a friend of mine on Facebook. He's an old gardener, and he does a lot of old style gardening and tips and myths and traditions, and I'm not sure if all of them are true or not, but he told me to get 3 to 5 comfrey leaves and bury them below my tomato plants. When I plant my tomato plants deep, bury comfrey leaves down underneath of them, and that would really speed up the process. So I tried it last year and it did work pretty good. I also used whole trout down in the soil as well, real deep, probably about 12 inches deeper than I planted the root, and it worked well too. But yeah, these have pretty flowers. They have these purple flowers. I believe they can be bluish and whitish in some varieties. There's a ton of different varieties of comfrey. There's wild comfrey that just grows, you know, in the ditches and sides of the road and things. And then there is some cultivated varieties that have been hybridized to not seed. So they will only propagate by root separation. I'm not sure what variety I have. I was given this variety by a friend of mine, so I think she said that it was only spreadable by root, so I think this might be a hybrid. So she probably got this, started it by a root clone from somebody else. That's usually how you would get it. I think it's a little more difficult to grow them by seed. I'm not sure. I haven't grown these by seed. But yeah, comfrey, look into it. Do some more research about the plant. You know, I just got a little root and I had a couple of leaves on it. I planted it and it took off pretty quick. It lasted over winter, came back this year all by itself. This is the first time it's bloomed, and it's got beautiful flowers really early. Before anything, you can see, here's my 5 o'clocks. I think these are 5 o'clocks. You know, this one's just got a bud on it here, just the first one of those too. And my hostas they just came up about a week or two ago, and they just got hit with a frost. Last night and the night before, we had some 26-degree weather. So, you know, stuff like that takes a little bit of a hit, but it'll keep on going. But yeah, comfrey, man, look into it. It's good stuff. This stuff can, spread. You know, it can take off if you let it, so just be aware of that. You can dig this whole thing up and then separate it, kind of like strawberries or anything else that kind of roots off and separates. Onions do it, garlics do it, tulips and everything, they kind of just bulb out separation. And this is kind of what this does, but in a root form. And again, you can just take clippings of the root itself. You know, if you're trying to get rid of this, you don't want to chop it up, you don't want to till it up. You want to make sure you dig it up and get all the root out, or just cover over it with a thick plastic or a real heavy mulch so it doesn't come through and it just dies off. So that's comfrey. Not sure of the Latin name. No, I don't know it offhand. So I'll have to look that up, and I'll put that right up here. So yep. Thanks for watching. Another plant and medicinal and useful plant, the comfrey plant. Look into it more. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe, like, comment. I'll see you next time.